kids to come forward. When I was a child, the church where I was didn't have a children's message. I guess that was back in the dark ages. The kids would just sit in the pews, and my family would always sit in the second pew. And that was something that my folks did very intentionally so that my brother and our foster sisters would be able to pay a little more attention to what was going on without just looking at some grown-up's back. But no children's message. No special time set apart. Here, though, we carve out those couple minutes where the kids can come up and have a time that is just for them. Asterisk. Except for what we all get out of those messages. But we have a time when the kids can come up, and they can be loved and included, when they can be the focus of what we do. And of course, the hope is that as they grow up, as they move on with Sunday school and confirmation class, that they will have internalized what it means to be included as part of the body of Christ, as part of this gathered community of faith. I expect, though, that while most churches these days have a children's message, not every church offers quite the same welcome. The kids who come forward with the high fives and the side body hugs, that's important that they're side body hugs. They learn something. Unfortunately, over the centuries, over recent decades, not every church has learned about the side body hug or the high five. We're finding out of Pennsylvania and New York new allegations of clergy, of volunteers in the churches, abusing children. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart as I think about the children who have been harmed by the Church of Jesus Christ. It breaks my heart as I think of now adults who have turned their back and walked away because of the misbehavior of individuals and the complicity of the church. It breaks my heart. Now, like most of you, I expect sorrow gives way quickly to anger, to blaming, to wanting justice, a righteous, holy anger, but an anger that says no more. In our United Church of Christ, I would like to tell you that we've never had anything like that happen. But I can't. Like every church, like every denomination, we're made up of people. And whenever you let people in the door, you let in all of the human weakness. You let in all of the good, but also all of the evil that people bring along. But in our United Church of Christ, we have been active in working to protect children. In fact, when the sexual abuse scandal first landed in Boston, 20 years ago now almost? The Archdiocese of Boston, the bishop picked up the phone and called the Massachusetts Conference Minister for the United Church of Christ and said, you guys have some policies for dealing with this. Can you share them with us? And we did. But we work together as God's people to protect children. Years ago, in this congregation, a safe church policy was put together, outlining how we take care of our children, how we make sure that they are safe, not just from someone intentionally trying to harm them, but from those casual things that can damage a person. How do we take care of our children? Those young ones that we love so much. And now, we're doing it again. We're working with the conference to put together some new policies about how do we make sure that we don't have a problem. It's important to take care of the children in our midst. The kids really point us to God in so many ways. And the way we care for them matters. Jesus and the disciples were together. After having walked a long way with the disciples arguing about this and that and the other, and Jesus heard them. But when he sat down with them at the house, he asked them, what were you arguing about? And of course, they shamefacedly admitted that they had been arguing about who was the greatest. I love that. The greatest. This bunch of Palestinian peasants. But the greatest tax collector? The greatest fisherman? The greatest what? And Jesus paused and shook his head. And then he brought a little child. Stood that child there in the midst of them. Picked the kid up in his arms and says, whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me welcomes not me, but the one who sent me. Jesus turned things on their head. It's not about who's great. It's not about who's powerful. It's not about who can do the most, even if it's the most tax collecting. It's about who can welcome a child the best. About who can offer the greatest love, the best protection, the most nurturing care. And we work to do that here, don't we? At every stage. I remember when my own son was an infant. The church that I attended at the time, Patel Chapel, down at Yale University, the university chapel that used to be a freestanding UCC congregation, though that isn't the case anymore. But we used to come together every Sunday morning. And when Communion Sunday rolled around, we gathered around the table because it was a big old barn of a place. We'd stand around and we would share the communion elements, the bread and the wine. And I remember holding Ian, little Ian, not the law student. But I remember holding Ian in my arms and dipping my finger in the wine and giving him just a little taste and seeing his face. And his first thought actually was probably the grape juice, not the wine. Maybe it was the wine, I don't remember. But seeing his face light up, his first thought upon receiving communion was, yum. No theological understanding whatsoever at this stage. I remember as he grew, learning that The church was a safe place for him where he could tear around and hide under the pews. And Owen, my son's favorite place when he was about your age was underneath. So I get it. But yes, he had learned and grew and went from young to growing understanding. That's how kids are, isn't it? Asking questions, wrestling with belief and disbelief and trying to figure things out and pushing boundaries and making us grown-ups sometimes want to tear our hair out. I'll tell you about the Easter cantata another time. Just remember, small children and chocolate-covered espresso beans don't go well together. But even in that moment, the church came together. Loving a child who was perhaps a little bit on the unlovable side at that very moment. When we pay attention to the children in our midst, it makes a difference. When we protect the children in our midst, it makes a difference. When we turn our eyes outside of the church and speak for the children who are most in need, it makes a difference. The Epistle of James, as I discussed with the kids, says, resist the devil and he will flee. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Our resistance sometimes leads us to speak up for children. For children who lack adequate health care. For children who are separated from their families. For children who are afraid and alone and in need of love. We see this locally with foster parents stepping up to care for children. We see it nationally as we continue to resist the separation of children from their parents on our nation's southern border. Some 12,000 of them now. We speak truth. But the truth is always designed to convey love, to convey protection, to do that holy work that Jesus teaches us, saying, whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. May we then, as God's very own people, in this place, do the work of welcoming the children, those little ones who are around us week in and week out, and those who are strangers to us as well. And in so doing, may we find that we welcome not just the children, but Christ himself. Amen.